Hey there, YouTubers. Just want to make a quick video here showing my 1993 Subaru Impreza. It's December of 2015, so this car is about 22 years old right now, and just shy of 175,000 miles on it. So this is the LS version, which means it came with larger diameter wheels, body colored mirrors and door handles, and ABS, which I'll show you in just a minute. So this car I bought back in 2000 with roughly 17,000 miles on it, somewhere in that range, and used it all throughout college and the first job that I had up in Wisconsin, and then brought it down here to St. Louis where I live today, and we continue to use it. So it's pretty well worn. See a lot of bumper stickers on it. I'll show you a little bit of the inside. Okay, so it's a little bit messy right now. The kids had a bunch of crafts and things that they were doing. You can see it's got a 60/40 rear split. It's got some little trays on the side for items. There's one on the driver's side too, but I took it out a little while ago to make space for a tent that we had to get in here for a camping trip. And I'll show you a little bit briefly how this works. There used to be a Pennsylvania car. There is a spare tire in there. You see it's a donut size. It did have some significant corrosion in here before, but like you can see the ground underneath there. I had to take the plug out, put some Rust-Oleum in there, and that's since been okay. It hasn't really been an issue. Alright, so that's that. In fact, there's the infamous plug I was just talking to you about. So that's the back. Coming in on the sides, this is the back seat. Again, you have to just ignore the mess. Here, had the kids in here earlier today, but pretty good back seats. You know, there's no real pockets or anything like that. There's nothing fancy. There's no heater vent or cup holders and none of that stuff. Basically, you got two seat belts for the side passengers, and there's a lap belt for the person in the middle. Not the largest car, but does a good job. Seats are 60/40 split, so that's kind of nice. Also, the seat bottom folds up if you need to. That way you can have a perfectly flat loading surface. Kind of nice if you need to take 2x4s and things. Alright, if we go into the front, so because this is the LS model, it's got power windows, power locks, power mirrors. I added a, you can kind of see it there, I added a fog light set, just a cheapo set, but I thought it would be cool to have them. Defroster, cruise control, heating, air conditioning, intermittent wipers. Rear wiper does not work anymore. I think a wire must have gotten crimped. But, you know, the car's 23 years old, so not all that worried about it. HVAC works pretty well. Air conditioning, believe it or not, still holds a charge, still does a decent job. It's not perfect, but it does all right. Aftermarket CD player. No MP3 or input jack or nothing like that, but it does all right. So, automatic transmission is a 4-speed with a overdrive, so it's essentially, or rather, it's a 3-speed with an overdrive, so it's essentially a 4-speed manual, or a 4-speed automatic rather. Emergency brake, little cubbies, junk, coins. You can see kind of how we do, but and then pretty decent sized glove box. So that's that. And let's get to the business end of it here. Yeah, my little sister drove this car for about 4 years. Didn't really wash it all that much, so there's a fair amount of rust on it when we got it back. So did a little bit of painting with Rust-Oleum, and the hood had some significant chips from years back. Fixed that with Rust-Oleum, but you can see there's a significant rust issue starting up now. Let me get this hood up here. So if you look at the engine, kind of go around the thing counterclockwise. And we got wires there for the windshield washer. We got brake fluid. Just put a new rotor, well, rather new rotors everywhere, front and rear, and a new caliper on the driver's side, front. The other ones still need to be done. So battery's looking all right. Not too bad. A little bit of corrosion, but nothing too bad. Oil's been changed. I do it every really 4,000 to 5,000 miles. Engine coolant. It's in there. Yeah, there's coolant in there. It's been flushed about 20,000 miles ago. You can see the new belts on there. Brand new air conditioning belt, and also the power steering alternator belt is pretty new. So anyway, alternator's original. Power steering pump and all of that stuff is original. Here's the ABS. This is one of the things that comes with the LS version. That's kind of a step up from the normal L. Yeah, air filter box, coils. There's one of those horizontally opposed, so you see the coils and the spark plugs go in on the side. You can see the red boots there. Transmission fluid is, I can't remember if this one's the oil, the differential, or if that's the fluid. I can't remember right now. I'd have to look, but I think that might be the oil. And then the fluids on the other side. And those have all been changed back at about 160,000 miles, roughly. There's the dipstick for the ATF. You can see that. So all the fluids are fresh. Brand new fluids. PCV valve. That's this guy right there. I pulled him out the other day. He was pretty good shape. Rattled pretty well. I sprayed a little bit of PV Blaster in there. Worked just fine. It's got dual radiator fans. No real issue there. Works just fine. So that's that. Underneath, you can look underneath real quick. See, it's really easy to get to change the oil on these cars. It's beautiful. There's the drain plug right there. And if you look, there's the oil filter. So don't even need to jack this thing up. You can do the oil change just, you know, kind of right here on the ground. No real big deal about it. So that's that. There's a little bit of oil seepage, I'm not going to lie. With a 22-year-old car, you expect that. But overall, pretty good shape. There's those fancy, cheapo Walmart fog lights I was talking about. You know, headlights are in good shape. Grille is in good shape. Body panels, for the most part, are pretty good. Except there is a fair amount of rust on the back. Wheel arches. These Subarus are notorious for that. So it's not as bad as I've seen some others around the internet, but you can kind of see. So what I did is I tried to ground out the worst of the rust and put some Rust-Oleum on there, but the truth is you can't stop this stuff. It's gonna eventually spread, you know, to the entire fender. So at some point it probably needs to be cut out and weld new sheet metal in there, but I'm of the opinion that I can keep it going for a while. Worst case, if I need to add some mastic or something of that nature, fiberglass, we can do that. So tires, you know, tires are all right. They got about 30,000 miles on them, so they're probably, you know, 2/3 of the way through their life. Hubcaps look like crap, but I don't care. So that's that. We'll notice though, these Firestones do not work very well. You can see there's a significant gap. If the camera picks that up or not, but there's kind of a tread issue there. So these may need to be replaced sooner than later. Otherwise, the metal's looking pretty good shape. The front fenders are good. Front tires are a little bit better shape than the rears. You know, again, there's plenty of tread in these guys. It's just that they're pushing 4 or 5 years old now, so these things just tend to wear out. Other than that, I showed you the hood already. The hood has significant rust kind of right here, but we'll keep it going for a while. I looked at replacement hoods. You're talking about $100. I'm not going to spend that. I don't need it. It's not all that necessary. Here's the other driver's side tire. Again, it needs probably get another year out of them. Trying to get another year or so. There's the the bottom. You can see. I'm going to just show you the doors. The doors are in pretty good shape. I've been keeping up with waxing these things from the day that it was really kind of came to me when I bought it back in 2000. I do a good job of waxing it several times a year. Try to keep it going. Here's that other fender. You see a little bit of bubbling there. Again, the story is the same as the other side. Eventually this is going to spread. It's going to take over the whole thing. But you can see I did here is kind of just use some Rust-Oleum paint. Doesn't look very good, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Also, I do want to show it. There's a fair amount of rust down here. I don't know if I can get the camera in there, but you can see I had to physically, actually this got broken off. There was so much rust this actually broke off. So you can see it's continuing to degrade. Eventually that piece will fall off. But there's a fair amount of meat in there. It'll last for a couple more years. Other than that, exhaust pipe, it's kind of nearing the end. There's a fair amount of rust on that. I fully expect that this muffler will need to be replaced in probably about 2 years. So, you want to mention this back tire does not match. This is not a Firestone. This is a Sumitomo or some such thing replacement that my sister bought because of a damaged tire. But it's okay. It's got some tread on it, so keep it going. So that's it. That's the Subaru. She runs all right. We use it day in and day out. I prefer driving it to work, honestly. Pretty much, especially when it's raining out. I like driving this one when I go to the grocery store. I like driving it. It's less of an issue if someone hits it with a door or shopping cart, things of that nature. But so that's it. That's the old girl. I'm going to try to keep it going. My target is 200,000 miles. At this kind of rate of mileage that I'm putting on it, that's going to be roughly 2.5 to 3 years of additional driving. But you can see there's going to be some expense coming due. You know, tires, fluids, but fluids are not a real big deal. Timing belt's going to be due in roughly another 25,000 miles. So when she hits 200,000 miles, we'll have to make an executive decision if we're going to keep it or let it go to junkyard, the great junkyard of beyond. So there she is. If anybody's interested, send me a note, and she's a goodie.